Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. Welcome to 2025.
2025!
This is the first show we've actually filmed in 2025, so Happy New Year.
Indeed.
We thought we'd just do a good old-fashioned run through some pedals, because it is called That Pedal Show after all.
Yeah.
Before all that, please subscribe, please click the button. It helps, and why not visit That Pedal Show store as well? That's how we fund the show.
Indeed, check this out. Lovely.
New in the store.
Silky smooth.
New in the store. Okay, so range of stuff today. We've kept it broadly gain focused with some pitch shifting fun. Yeah,
there's something really interesting about all of these. And these are things we haven't had on the show yet.
All new to us.
Yeah.
The Electro-Harmonix Triboro Bridge. Apparently, according to Catherine, is 3 boroughs in New York.
I believe so.
Because
Borough.
Electro-Harmonix are from New York.
Indeed.
Cunningham dual range fuzz pedal, the Keeley Octa Psi, I say you?
Yeah, Octa Psi, the fuzz, transfigurating fuzz.
Sci-Pi. The new Brent Mason signature pedal from Wampler, or at least the newest one.
Mm-hmm.
Deluxe 55 from Origin Effects, which is a Tweedy thing. And the Grampian Preamp from Soundgas.
Hello.
Totally justifying its one switch and one knob glory there. Yeah, so all broadly gain focused, and we'll have a black through each. Amps today.
I wonder what the settings are.
Deluxe reverb, standard Fender reissue deluxe reverb, and the Mesa Cali Tweed, both set to that point where they've got a bit of harmonic interest going on, but neither is going to be into any heavy overdrive.
Yeah.
So we're getting to hear the pedals.
Indeed.
Where should we start, Daniel?
Well, shall we start with the EHX? Start on the right and go to the left.
There'll be a bit of manual diving because, as you know, prior research isn't really a part of That Pedal Show.
No, it's a voyage of discovery for all of us. What is really cool about this? So Electro-Harmonix have released a series of these micro pedals, and they've got like the whole range. They've been able to shrink down.
NYC DSP.
Right.
Which obviously means New York City Digital Signal Processing.
Okay.
Or dirty. No, we won't go there.
So this is an overdrive, a distortion, and a fuzz in one cool little box.
Green for overdrive.
Yep.
Orange for distortion, red for fuzz. And then depending on which mode you have selected, in the fuzz, for example, you get different variations on the controls.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a whack through the 3 modes then. We may as well start with overdrive, I think.
Yeah.
No, there is an additional press and hold feature, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is an additional press and hold feature. Cut. The additional function is a contour, a mid-contour thing, which we'll hear in a sec.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Gagne then.
Gagne.
Amps, you've sort of heard them already, but...
Perhaps today. Nice.
Just keep playing. I'll just show you that mid thing. If you play something sort of broadly here,
Okay.
you'll hear it. Turn the volume on the guitar up. Just turn the volume on the guitar up. Yeah. So the bass control in the fuzz mode enacts a gate,
Very cool.
which can be really useful when you're using fuzzy sounds, because if you turn the gate off, is the guitar still up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Noise gate.
That's cool. So if I...
It's a variable gate.
Okay.
So
Yeah, man, that's cool.
So you've obviously got to set it right on that extreme point of just cutting the
Unless you want
noise.
it like a slow gear.
Yeah, but that's a cool sound in itself.
That's very cool.
I'm still. Are you still up on the guitar?
Right there.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because are you still up on the guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. You keep going up and it cuts out, then you can come back a bit. Try that.
Sounds great.
Pretty flexible.
Yeah.
The first two modes, the overdrive and the distortion, are based on a couple of existing
EHX pedals.
EHX pedals. You can read all about that at the Electro-Harmonix website. The third one is the new one, and I think that's the Triboro
Right.
algorithm.
Oh,
And bear
cool.
in mind, I'm going to guess that because it's called NYC DSP, we're listening to a digitally modelled overdrive and fuzz there.
I don't know that we are. I think there might be some fancy digital shenanigans.
Says featuring 3 unique saturation algorithms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's something I want to try before we move on. Just want to try some humbuckers in the overdrive mode a minute, just to see what it feels like.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. What I was listening for. First, you heard the mid hump, right?
Yep.
So it's as it presented through these humbuckers, feels quite high.
Right.
When Dan was playing a telly earlier, it felt almost tube screamery.
Right.
The way
Okay.
it sort of gave that throaty, but I think it's actually a bit higher than that. I
Right.
don't know where the frequency is centered, but I'm going to say it's somewhere between 1 and 2K. Might even be a tiny bit higher than that. And of course, that depends on how wide the push is, but it was bringing out a nice bit of rasp in the overdrive.
Right.
And then one of the things I find about digital overdrives is you can hear the kind of on the top.
Sure.
So I was trying to balance out the treble and the bass control,
Right. Keep
to
it smooth.
mitigate that a bit. But in a straight play this overdrive, is it digital? I wouldn't say yes.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, definitely, which you can hear in some.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Nice. Clean up. It did lose a bit of high end, but I guess that's not entirely unusual.
No.
This guitar does stay relatively bright when you turn it down, but
Yeah, 50s wiring and all that jazz.
yeah. Nice. Okay. Let's move right along then. That's good. And I suspect, given that it's Electro-Harmonix in the NYDSP in that form factor, I suspect it is not dreadfully expensive.
20p.
Might be a bit more than that. Where do you want to go next then, Dan? Should we just go in order?
Let's go in order,
Okay.
because I'm really excited to look at this next one. Having a quick play with this while we're setting up, and it, you know, I had a full head of hair before I started playing it. It just went.
Cunningham was a new name to me until sometime last year when Tim, I think it's Tim Cunningham, hello Tim, sent in a bunch of stuff, one of which was this pedal's slightly more simple brother, which looks like that, which was this really cool relict half of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same circuit anyway, but it looks really cool. And I stuck it on a board for an experience day. I was like, oh my goodness me,
It's
that
incredible.
is
Yeah.
really, really good.
Simple
So
jack in the pedal.
these two knobs here will give you an idea of what it's aimed at, vintage style fuzz, presumably in the tone bender game.
I think it's more fuzz face.
Is
It's,
it?
Yeah, it's you put a buffer in the front end of it, and it does the same thing as a fuzz face.
Okay.
But it's very
And if it-
throaty and gorgeous.
If it cleans up great, then
Yeah.
we know that it's more that. But also bear in mind, Mark 1 tone bender, Mark 2 tone
Oh yes,
bender.
yeah, the 1.5.
What happened to the
Yeah,
1.5?
Yeah,
It became the fuzz face.
yeah, that's right.
So we're in that sort of territory. So this is the principal thing, which is what you access when you turn it on. And then in addition, if you turn that on, you invoke these two additional controls.
Which is for the boost, yeah.
Yeah. And this switch is a bass bottom end
Oh, cool.
attenuation.
Nice.
So
Yeah, but that's the thing with a lot of those fuzzers. They sound amazing, and then you go to the band, it's like there's nothing left. So that you can tame that back a bit. That's brilliant.
right, can you then?
Wow. That is incredible.
It does something that none of my fuzz faces do,
Yeah.
which in the lower range of the gain control actually works as a really nice low gain overdrive.
With humbuckers as well. That's...
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't set like that at that point. When you started off playing the telly, I turned it right down.
Right.
So basically like this and like that.
Okay.
And then, let's see.
I absolutely love that thing.
Apologies for the tuning shenanigans. This guitar hasn't been played in about 3 months. Man,
It's incredible.
works off the volume control.
Yep.
Does aggressive fuzzy.
Yep.
Cleans up nice.
Yep.
And has a boost mode. What the hell? I'm just wondering what the boost mode does now. So if we've got...
If in that, okay, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
so... I'll tell you how long this guitar hasn't been played in. Here is a feather from the feather duster I use cleaning up for experience days.
Nice.
Going over all the headstocks because they get dusty.
They do.
Look,
yeah.
dusty
Very good.
and feather. You can just imagine me counting the marigolds.
I can actually. They think it'd be your happy place.
Yeah, so I just want to see what that does in that.
With
this
the lower
mode.
gain mode, yeah.
So it's not separate, it's always on top.
Yeah. It's like cascading stages.
Killer.
Incredible.
Killer.
Yep.
I would say, we have said this many times on that pedal show. If you can't go the whole hog to a fuzz because it's too difficult, that is a great choice. Your only slight downside is because they are handmade one at a time, everyone is ever so slightly different. All NOS stuff, you know, the pinnacle of building.
Yeah, you're not going to walk into your retailer and ask to try one out.
They are not cheap.
No.
They are far from cheap.
Yeah.
But I don't know, built like that lasts literally a lifetime. I also don't think they're expensive.
Yeah. Well, if you've got a fuzz pedal that you can plug humbuckers and single coils in and get that out of it,
And last you your whole life,
yeah,
Daniel.
yeah, incredible. Love it. Brilliant.
Okay, you'll have to help me on this then.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the Octa Pi.
Psi.
So Octa Psi.
Pi Psi. It's a whole new genre.
Yeah. Octa Psi. From Robert Keeley. This came out last year, and it's a super cool thing. Robert's designed his sort of take on a muff style circuit, incorporated with a pitch shifter.
Huh.
So if we just go through them one at a time. So let's have a quick look at the muff. And I've been using this, and actually Jake at work has had this on his board for like 6 months, and he's just blown away by it because he's a
wicked.
massive Big Muff fan.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got 3 modes of the Big Muff. So yes, if I have Schwang, and then you just...
Yeah, what are they? Like a triangle, ram's head, and then something
there's
else?
a scoopy one, there's the center, which is the Pi one, and there's a punchy one, which is more mid,
Okay.
which is the one I really dig.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like a muff.
it's a great sounding big muff, but then you've got the pitch shifter circuit, which does the little switch on the side here. It'll give you octave up, octave down, and then you've got the dual mode, which is both. But you can plug an expression pedal into it and do whammy sounds.
Oh, we should have done that.
It's really cool.
Does it work independently, or does it only work when the fuzz is on?
Independently.
Okay, well, let's turn the fuzz off then, so we're not clouding our jugement.
Indeed.
A very brief demonstration of octave down, octave up, and together.
Yeah.
And I also changed the blend from nothing to everything. So now we can choose an interval.
Yes.
And does it go, so if it's a fifth, will it go a fifth down and a fifth up?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, so it's almost like having a part pog, part whammy.
Yeah. It's super clever. On the back of the pedal is a bunch of instructions, and there's things that you can do. You can turn the switch into a momentary switch so that you can just like flash the pitch shifter on. Yeah.
So I think I'm right in saying then that it takes it from no bend to the bend, the interval.
Yeah, you can set it up in a bunch of different ways, but if you just plug the expression pedal in, yes, absolutely.
So if you play.
Can you do that same sound but with the muff on?
With pleasure. Win. Win.
So,
That is flipping epic.
just as an octave pitch shifter, it's fantastic. But I love the Big Muff in it. And they work so well together. Robert and the team, they've worked for years on this.
To work on bass.
Oh, yeah.
Regular viewers will know that I've got a depth bass gig in a cover band, a friend of mine, and I require an octave down and a fuzz.
There you go.
At the moment, I'm using a Hudson Broadcast for my fuzz, which sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And either a Boss OC5 or the Source Audio
Right.
Spectrum.
Right. Yeah. It's a very special thing.
Can I just plug the bass in?
Of course.
Because I got a depth bass gig in my mate's band, I obviously bought a new bass and a new bass amp.
What's the difference between that one and that one?
And the two basses I already own. This one's Faded Fiesta Red.
Of course. Sorry.
Okay, so it's guitar amps, it's bass, obviously. One of the songs I play which requires fuzz,
Yeah.
apologies for the pick, starts like this. So if we just go down, octave down.
Yep.
Win.
It's great, isn't it?
I've just found my Octafuzz pedal.
There you go. Killer.
Nothing to see here, by the way. Nothing to see there. Nothing to see there.
You need to let us know when you're playing. I want to come and see this.
You may have picked out Queens of the Stone Age, No One Knows, and Muse Starlight there.
Nice.
Just to make sure we get the copyright strike. Right, back to small guitar. Okay, flipping neck, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be screaming at the screen, there's loads of pedals that can do that already. I'm not aware of one. And I'm also, one of the things I've been struggling with from a bass perspective is quite a lot of these types of pedals have too many controls that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
that I don't have the willingness to get involved with for 2 days.
Yeah.
Instant understandability.
So one of the things that I've been so impressed with Keeley lately, the 4-in-1 pedals that they've done, like the Blues Disorder, and the UI is just perfect. It's so easy, but that can get really complicated.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of things that you can set it up to do, and deep dive edits and that sort of stuff. But you can just jump straight in. You don't need to read the manual and okay, there it is, and it's killer.
Awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. It's nice when that happens.
Yeah, really good.
Bit of serendipity. Okay, moving on. Wampler ReWired. Brian Wampler. Hello, Brian, if you're watching. And Brent Mason have been friends for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. Brent Mason, if you don't know, just Google him. Absolute session legend.
Yep.
Teleplayer extraordinaire, all kinds of player extraordinaire. just amazing on so much music,
Yeah.
and a complete legend of the guitar world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was his previous pedal called the Hot Wired? Because he had a track called
The Hot Wired, yeah.
It was orange. am
Yes,
I
that's right. Yeah.
And apologies if there have been others and different versions thereof. This is the ReWired, which is the latest one, which is, it says there, look, overdrive and distortion, and somewhat similar to other really brilliant dual overdrive and distortion pedals. You can stack the order, so you can have drive into distortion or distortion into drive. In addition, as far as I can remember from reading the manual, this fat control is not dissimilar to the thump of a 412 cab.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So you can dial that in. The overdrive section has a blend control.
Right. Blends in some clean tones.
Exactly that. And yeah, that's about it. If we get stuck, we will refer to the manual, but that's about it.
Okay.
So let's start with the overdrive sound then. Gagne then, Daniel. Did you hear it in the minimum overdrive setting? Quite a bit of gain.
Yeah,
so can you try and play a bit more lightly and turn the volume down a bit?
I'll try.
So to mitigate that, if it's too drivey with the gain at 0, you can bring the blend up
and get more of the clean.
Bring some of your clean signal back in.
So it's just a bit sizzly.
Retain some of that punch.
Yeah.
Really interesting. So if we keep going then, now turn the drive up.
That's a lot of gain for an overdrive. That's great. But that blend control...
Yeah, chef's kiss on that, because if you... I mean, clearly, it's Brent and Brian. It's going to be pretty good, isn't it? But I don't mean to sound... Ooh, surprising, it's really good. Of course it's going to be good. But I really love the way you can blend it, put the blend in, so that if you want to retain some note definition,
it's there.
You can. I'll tell you what's really interesting about those tone controls as well. I think at lower volume, God forbid, you have to do that, but lots of people do.
Yeah.
You could probably push both a bit to give you a fuller sound.
Okay, with that.
Yeah, what's it called? The effect at low volume?
The Fletcher-Munson curve.
The Fletcher-Munson curve. You can give it a bit of Fletcher-Munson, i.e. boost the bass and treble to make it sound fuller at lower volume. No, I'm not turning down. There's too much hassle with all the mic pre's and everything, but in any case, let's try some humbuckers on the overdrive.
You know what's interesting? I can tell that that's been designed by someone who is really, really good.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cover mistakes. You know, it's you hear everything.
Sorry about that.
No. But when you with that blend control,
Yeah.
because Brent is so good and he's so clean, is so on it.
Yeah.
And you've got to be on your game. Well, it's set like that. When you dial your clean tone out and it's all the compression and it feels lovely.
Yeah.
But you can see why he has that blend control in there. So he still has all the clarity and stuff from his what he does.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that recorded because sometimes those blended sounds can just sound weird.
Yeah, okay.
Because you get the transient of the clean note.
And the sustain underneath it.
But it certainly didn't sound in any way weird here.
No.
It actually sounded really cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, a straight 50-50 blend might be not quite right for you. You might want a bit more of the overdrive sound. I also think that would be quite a big deal at lower volume because one of the issues with higher gain at lower volume is it's just mush.
Yeah, because it's so compressed.
And you can't hear anything and there's no note definition.
Yeah.
So just dialing in a bit of that clean, especially at lower volume, I think could give you a bit more cut and definition.
Yeah.
And as the volume goes up, if you are lucky enough to play loud, you can start to get rid of some of that clean blend because all the articulation and everything else is there from the volume.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and that's just the overdrive side. Distortionization, Daniel?
Yes.
That's jolly interesting because
I was expecting that.
there's almost as much gain in the
There's-
overdrive side.
Yeah.
And it's voiced much more in those lower mids.
Yeah. And the clarity in that distortion side is just great.
It is not a modern, easy distortion.
No.
It's a distortion for somebody who likes attack, clarity.
Yeah, who can get in there.
Yeah.
Give it a go with the humbuckers.
Really interesting how much gain the tone control
Yeah, okay.
governs
How
as
else
well.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it just really drives those, what do I want to say, like 3K and up.
Right,
Those sorts of growly
sure.
overdrive frequencies.
Well, Brent Mason and his main guitar, he does have a mini humbucker in the neck because they can get woolly, like neck humbuckers.
I feel it may suit this guitar quite
Yeah.
well. I don't know I barely ever use a neck humbucker on this guitar, but let's try it. Do you know what? I wonder if and this could be completely wrong, but I wonder if the distortion is more for the out of the way fat rhythms.
Oh, and yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure it's used in all ways, but for me, what it doesn't have, if you just switch over to the overdrive sound,
Yep.
you'll get this massive chunk of low, mid, and mid back in, which will make this guitar feed back in a very harmonic way, which the distortion isn't doing at the
Sure,
moment.
okay.
It is doing it. That mid-range is just shifted up
Yeah.
to bring it. That's really interesting because it's so guitar dependent as well.
Sure.
All right, let's listen to a couple of the stacked sounds then. So we'll start with overdrive first into distortion.
Tis a groovy thing.
It really is. I want to know if it has some sort of charge pump or something like that because it has a great deal of headroom. It has got buckets of volume
Yeah.
and buckets of dynamic range, it would seem.
Which is hard to do. I mean, I've said this before, distortion circuits are very hard to design to make them sound good and sound musical and dynamic.
Maybe we're just a bit cock-a-hoop for being back in the room and playing loud, but everything is sounding really sweet today.
Isn't it? That sounds really good.
Yeah. Okay. Deluxe 55 then. We are going to do a Tweed show. We did a Tweed show with some vintage Tweed amps last year with Jesse Hoff and Ed Olesko. And we had some lovely 50s Fender amps in, which was a real treat.
It's glorious.
Origin, who have now been working very hard in the amp simulation game for years.
Yep. And they stand apart from the amp simulation game because they're doing it all analog with amp topology and that stuff. It's really wonderful.
And this is their take on the 55 Deluxe, or at least a mid-50s Fender Deluxe, modelled after a specific one that they have. Iconic Tweed amplifier, 1x12 Deluxe. You'll know it when you see it. Narrow panel Fender Deluxe amplifier. Famed for its instrument and mic channels, which you could, even if you weren't plugged into one, blah, blah, blah. And
they still have an effect.
This has some shenanigan to get with all of that. Further, you can have a 12AX7 or a 12AY7.
Oh, yes, so the V1, yeah.
Simulation for V1, the AY7 less gain than the 12AX7, so more or less gainy. Secondly, there's this switch here, post EQ mode. In the middle, it's off, and you can plug the Deluxe 55 straight into your speaker simulator of choice.
Oh.
And/or power amp.
And/or amp?
Well, if you're going to plug it into an amp,
if
it's a Fender style amp.
No way.
You want it that way. If it's a Marshall style amp, you want it that way.
Okay.
And that affects the characteristics of the bottom left control, which is the post EQ control. So it's kind of tweaked to suit the general core sound and EQ curve of a classic black panel type Fender or a classic Marshall.
Right.
If you're using it into the front of the amp, which of course
what we do.
We are. May end up having to refer to the manual, but let's just go, shall we, Dan? So, because we're running into, well, one Deluxe Reverb, which is a Fender black panel amp, and one amp that's sort of tweedy, but it's actually set up not very overdrivey, so I think we'll be safe on the Fender. You notice the dual light has gone out yet again, Dan?
Is that why it sounds so good?
Yeah, well, I think it's still, this is better just check it's actually still on and hasn't died. It's on.
Here we go.
So straight off the bat, if that is indeed the correct, so in number one, no Deluxe I've ever heard has that much bottom end.
No.
And it could be that we've got the coupling of two amps, which is increasing the bottom end.
Right.
But I've never heard a Deluxe put out that amount of bottom end. Now, interestingly, this works in reverse. So if you just play a sec. For our 2 amps today, I actually think it sounds more like a Deluxe in the number 2
Sure, okay.
setting where you lose some of that bass.
Yep.
Let's see if that control puts some back in.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of shifts, sorry, for you on the camera there, shifts the hump of the high frequency down.
Right.
So we almost got like a mid
Yeah.
type boosty as it went down.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about a cranked Deluxe, we'll switch over to the AX7 mode in a second, is it's raggedy ass on the top, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Really, really
But
dragging a bunch of broken bottles across concrete.
that's right. But you need to think about this in the context of a mix and being in a band.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's really
Yeah.
magic, but it's not smooth.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
And the point of it is, as you overdrive it, those trebles get overdriven.
Yes, and that's where the compression and the feel and the sag comes in.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get there then.
Okay. That's wild.
It's more together.
Yeah.
It's much more controlled, I think. There might be a way to make it less controlled. But certainly of all the original Deluxes I've heard, if I heard one that sounded that good, I would buy it immediately.
That's wild.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Try some humbuggies. Hello, Gearman dude. White collie.
I wanted to put the the boost something into the front end.
It didn't die.
No, it didn't die.
It actually became even more kind of, the notes jumped out. The reason I cranked it and started banging away on chords was in the sort of, as a little nod to Neil Young.
Neil Young, yeah.
And when you listen to Neil Young's guitar sound, which I appreciate is a bunch of other stuff as well, what happens on the front of that chord is you get this massive sag.
Yeah.
It kind of goes, wah, doesn't it? And there was a bit of that happening.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I think that's really good and tees us up nicely for a new Tweed show.
Yeah.
Because there's the down drive Tweedy, which I use quite a bit. There's this Crazy Tube Circuits do one, which is really cool. We'll dig around for some others. But I think it'd be really nice to dig into that a bit.
Yeah. ZVEX, North pedals, there's a bunch of them.
We'd have to be a little bit selective, but
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
yeah, nice.
I dig that.
I really dig that too. Does it sound ampy? It's really hard to tell because it's plugged into an amp.
Yeah.
So you're always hearing a bit of these amps.
But the fact that you can plug it into amps and still get the character
Yeah.
coming through, it's very cool. I dig that. Yeah, well done. Okay, moving along.
Moving not so swiftly along.
Yeah, this is the Soundgas Grampian preamp.
Which I knew nothing about.
Right.
Hello to Tony and Gid and everyone at Soundgas.
Yeah.
Lovely people. If you don't know Soundgas, please check Soundgas out.
Big fans. They're wonderful people, and they have the best gear.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
So they traditionally have been in higher end studio gear, and you'll find all kinds of really amazing preamps, desks. Sometimes they'll broker sales for people, so you'll find like
Well, I got my
Space Echo
Space Echo from them.
and your Echo Rec. Did that come? Oh no, they fixed it.
They fixed my Echo Rec.
Yeah, and we bought a mixing desk from them as well. They just do really great work in the pro audio world. But do you know anything about the Grampian preamp?
So I know that it was used by Pete Townsend. It was he became associated with it, and there's another guitar player. Anyway, yeah, but it was
Lee Perry at
Lee
Black
Perry.
Ark.
And it's a mic preamp basically. So this is
Yeah.
like a no holds barred Grampian reproduction.
Grampian Type 366 mic preamp
Yeah.
for guitar distortion. We're in the woods here, mate.
So yeah, I did a board for Ed O'Brien that had one of these on there, and he was using it as like an overdrive.
My beautiful bass is obscuring the honking horn.
Okay,
So honk for Ed.
I bet if you did that, you'd find that your pitch then with your honk is the same as the horn.
Honk, honk,
You went honk, honk. Yeah, a little bit low. It's very good though.
Is it C?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It honks in
Hang on.
C.
Grab the horn.
I've been watching that pedal show for 5 minutes now and they haven't made a single guitar sound.
You play B. Sorry, you play an E. Okay, and I'll play a G.
Okay,
Ready?
we might...
One,
What?
1, 2, 3. Ah, no, sorry. There, yeah. Oh no.
Dan's trying to make an E major chord, are you?
Yeah, but that's coming to C sharp now. So you play an F there.
It's you.
So if you play an F there, okay. So 1, 2, 3.
There's no way you'll be able to hear that. We just made an F major chord.
Well, C sharp major chord.
C sharp major chord. Never did do chords very well. Anyway, what? What?
So
Anyway, resplendent in a very small box there because inside what you'll see is glory.
Yeah.
And I may well do a shot of the inside if it doesn't invalidate any warranty by taking it to bits. And I certainly don't want to take it to bits because it is not exactly cheap.
it is anti-cheap.
It's the antithesis of cheap.
Yep.
If cheap was water, it would be fire. And or gas. Oxygen.
So on the top control, we have the top panel. We've just got the gain control.
Yeah.
But we've got two switches on the side. One is an input impedance control. And
Yeah. So it says the impedance. Use your ears to decide which you prefer. There's no right or wrong.
yeah.
So it's going to be higher or lower impedance.
Yeah.
Apologies, Daniel. Keep going.
And then you've got a three-way switch, which is an attenuation switch. So if you want to use it as an overdrive and you just crank the preamp up, it'll be really loud. So the attenuation switch enables you to knock the the master volume back a bit.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And then apparently, as far as the input goes, do please read all about this on the Soundgas website, but can be unbalanced or balanced, TRS or balanced XLR. So you can plug anything into it, a guitar, a bass, a keyboard, a microphone, use it as a mic pre, whatever instrument you wish. Yeah.
Shall we?
Ready?
Ready.
We'll start in the most attenuated position, which I think was, well, who knows, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And then
The other thing to note is, even though the LED isn't on at the moment, the LED is a meter.
overload, yeah.
Is that, yeah, so you can see when the signal's coming in.
When it's I think it's it says overload, so I think that's when it's overdriving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, right, enough of this.
Oh, man.
That is crazy good. I just want to try something a minute. Can you, with it cranked like this, obviously it's supposed to be the other way, it's supposed to be that way up.
Well, no,
Well,
and well, if you do,
that's minimum.
oh yes, of course,
And
but
that's maximum.
but you've got the input and output then are all on
Or
one
on the side,
So
yeah.
it
Can be anywhere.
Exactly.
Maybe you could unscrew the knob and put it at your desired position.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like that because that's obviously just past 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's cranked in the middle attenuation setting. What I would like Dan to do is play at full guitar volume.
Yep.
Turn the guitar down a bit, and
Yep.
then I'm just going to change the impedance
Oh,
to
okay.
see if it affects the
The
cleanup.
cleanup. Okay. Okay. So.
That was in its least attenuated mode flat out, which would mean that in addition to whatever the pre is doing, both of those amps would have been overdriving in themselves at that point, because that was an enormous amount of signal. That's pretty special. That is pretty bloody special.
You gotta have a go on that, because there's not.
I'll
Yeah,
just-
you just
yeah.
have to just experience it.
I want to leave it in that least
definitely.
attenuated mode just for a second, and I'm just going to have a mess around with the controls on the guitar to see what we discover. Absolute nowhere to hide clarity.
No, that's right.
So I actually think that completely the middle one is going to work a little better for me personally. That impedance switch puts back a bunch of low mids,
Yeah.
which is really cool. It's cool. I'm totally struggling for something to play because it's such a
so different.
guitar sound I would literally never use.
Right.
That bright and massive, and I did say I was going to mess about with the controls on the guitar. Sorry. Man, that is
Isn't that crazy?
absolutely bonkers. With a pulse for fishing about for the notes and stuff, but I was just trying to let some space happen
Yeah.
to see what would happen harmonically. That is extraordinary.
Yeah. It really is.
I mean, it sort of warrants further investigation, really, because there's so many questions that come out of that. Well, doesn't any boost do that? Don't all boosts sound a bit like that? But no.
No, they don't. It has the balance of compression and harmonics and dynamics. It just seems to be all there.
I'm going to make an analogy, a food analogy.
Yep. I'm quite hungry, so please
Imagine
go
a
ahead.
sort of lower end, absolutely feature packed, and I'm going to say it, digital overdrive pedal.
Okay, yep.
To me, that's the equivalent of your student day stew.
Okay, nice, which is fun and good. And we'll
Filling.
get you through. Filling.
You throw everything in, bit
Yep.
of this, bit of that, because you haven't quite got your cooking game on yet. Bit of this, bit of that, few vegetables.
You don't know who's turning up,
Bit of meat,
and you want to make sure that
bit of pasta.
all flavours are accounted
You
for.
found a bunch of stuff in the cupboard. You're like, what's this? Smells all right. Have
Yep.
some of that in there.
Cut some mould off the sweet potato, throw the rest in.
And as such, no one around the table says, the oregano in this is really coming through. Oregano, sorry, for those of you in the US. No one is saying, wow, the way that lime basil works with the chili is perfect.
Yep.
Nobody says that. This, the most expensive piece of fillet steak you could ever buy, cooked by someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Accoutrement that may include this and that may include a fantastic fondant potato and a very, very carefully cooked vegetable.
That's very good.
And the kind of sauce, like a really good, I don't know what it might be, a béarnaise or a peppercorn or whatever it is,
It'd be a reduction, surely.
a lovely red wine jus.
There you go. That's what
Each
it'd
one
be.
of those elements is absolutely distinct and crucial to the flavour of the other.
Yeah.
Much fewer elements, much fewer components, and therefore changing one of those things makes
It's all the difference.
all the difference.
Yeah, completely.
And I think the gain staging of the amplifier, the guitar you play, your pick attack, all of these things now become crucially important where you can't really hear any of that stuff in the other thing I just mentioned. You can, but it's just not as crucial as it is here.
Yeah.
So, matching with other gear, crucial.
Yes.
Commitment to what the hell you're playing, as you just heard when I played,
Yep.
essential. That
Yeah.
is utterly astonishing.
Wow, what a way to kick the year off.
I know. I'd want to plug a mic into it now and just see what it sounds like as a mic pre too.
Yeah. But like a strong showing from everyone.
Great. Happy days. All right. This show is probably already twice as long as it should have been. Indeed it is. Cool.
Very cool.
Please go to that Pedal Show store and buy merch. That's how we support the show. That's how we keep doing this. And for patrons on Patreon, we do monthly giveaways and a bunch of other stuff if you want to support us in that way.
That'd be great.
Click the description down and there's links to all kinds of things. Have a read of that and see what's in there.
Including our preferred retailers.
Yes.
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on Monday for viewers, comments, and questions, where we can go through all of the stuff.
Internet permitting.
Indeed.
See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.